terrible skin. Woo! Well, we got it figured out a lot better than what I was talking about on a recent blog post, and thanks to everyone who either left a comment on that post or said something by email. This new blog that I started, Self-Improvement Supercharger, is really quite different than the Magnetic Memory Method blog, and I'm quite surprised by how many people have showed up for the two posts that I've released so far. And of course the last one was a little bit extreme, but of course it was talking about something very extreme, which was suffering from a lot of arthritic pain and outbursts in both skin and mood. And of course I take a bit of a strong position in the writing about what isn't going to work to help this and what is, and a lot of it had to do with belief, and I just don't see that belief is necessary. And every person that I come across in some of the most interesting ways to tackle this condition always say, well, you have to believe in it first. And a huge issue comes up there because I'm a scientist by nature. Everything I do in memory training is all predicated upon, based upon, grounded upon, founded upon the fact that you don't need to believe that the techniques work in order for them to work. You just have to use them. And no belief is necessary. The evidence is there. It's either yes or no. You remember it or you don't. And so when I go to do something as an experiment as part of Project Wolverine over at the new blog, and the practitioner, whether it's acupuncture or herbs or whatever the heck that they're talking about to help out with this terrible, terrible psoriasis arthritis, you know, it's really, really a wrong start when they place responsibility on the patient and say, you have to accept this, you have to believe in it, and that is the foundation for it working. This is nonsense. This is actually a crime against humanity to say that to anyone seeking help, because you should be presenting them something where you can look and say, here, this is what has worked for many people. Here's why we have concluded that it works that way. The evidence is really quite strong. Now, this may not be a guarantee that it's going to work for you this way, but we're recommending this to you for a reason, and we have substantial reasons to give it to you in this way. But when they place the burden of responsibility on the person undergoing the treatment, this is false. This is nonsense. This is not at all in keeping with what one will get results from and what many people will get results from. And so the basis needs to be on you as an individual testing for yourself different things. But be very cautious of people who place the burden of responsibility on you when they're the ones making the claims that it's going to help. Because what they're trying to do is essentially dodge responsibility for it not working. And that is a prediction in advance. It's really just saddening and frustrating. And so the dialogue that is emerging, both people who've emailed me individually and who posted on the site, it is much appreciated. It's very much appreciated, and I do like to have challenges to my thinking, so please continue. But at the end of the day, we can't really have a reasonable discussion about N=1 health strategies or just traditional medicine strategies or Western medicine or anything like that until we have a framework, a groundwork for what's going to be accepted as something that has universal principles and properties for people in the world that doesn't require them to buy in at the level of belief. There's something morally disgusting about that, and it's not going to help people across the board as largely as it could. Whereas a education that teaches you about how to see yourself as an experimental subject in the laboratory of life or the laboratory of medicine, whatever you want to call it, and actually track what's going on with you and place the burden of responsibility on the process, on the scientific method, on your adherence to the scientific method, without this kind of woo-woo stuff and, you know, just go with what, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, there's lots of things to be said, and I don't want to bring a negative slant to it or a negative light to it, but I do really see it in the context of memory and what's been achieved and achievable in memory. And you don't need to believe in these things. You really just got to dive in and do it, and it'll work. And the evidence is all there. World Memory Championships records, just the actual descriptions of what people have done with them, and then the experiences that people have. So it's really, to me, quite a very similar thing. In any case, I really appreciate everyone hopping onto that new blog that I put out there, a little small thing. And if you're interested in that and you want to take a free little training that I put together about mental toughness and daily discipline, that is coming from a slant. It's coming from the slant that belief is not necessary. You need to actually, to be really mentally tough, you need to get out of belief, and you need to look for evidence. You need to understand the process by which evidence is accumulated, evidence is acted upon, and evidence is refined. If you're into that kind of stuff, then the best way to get over to the new blog is to use the special link, magneticmemorymethod.com/MT, and that's for Magnetic Memory Method fans. And you know, I'm curious what you think about it and what you do with it, most importantly. And if you have rebuttals and you want to change my mind and make belief the way that I'm going to move forward, then by all means, send them along. I'll consider them. There's so many great book recommendations on that new post that I'm going to be following up on, and you might want to follow up on them too and join the dialogue, join the discussion, because ultimately that's what is needed here, is a real honest and transparent and open and ethical discussion about the nature of how we are treating the conditions that we have and what we are requiring of the patient to accept without any evidence that they should accept it. So I think it's a really exciting discussion to be had, and it's as true of Western medicine as it is of any other medicine. So let's get in there and let's do something cool, make something happen that will be interesting. And so all of those of you who have participated so far, thank you very much. And for those of you who are about to participate, I thank you in advance. So back to memory palaces. Look at them all. Aren't they great?